Morning, guys. I keep calling it day one of building the homestead, but it seems like everything that happens, it's always the first step in getting something done. I'll give you an example. The day that we got these stakes staked for dividing the property up and being able to put our stakes in for the foundation, that seemed like the first day. And then nothing happens for a few days. And then the next thing that happens, they come and dig a hole, but then it's kind of silent for a few days, nothing happens. Today what happened is the lumber for the forms and the rebar for the foundation arrived. And so it feels like another first day of the build to me. So I'm setting up the building permit. I'm putting the building permit out by the road so that people can see that are coming to inspect and things like that. But I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you can tell I'm excited. I'm trying to be more excited. I am excited. But wanted to talk about the building process and something that my wife had a conversation with someone yesterday who was, I don't know if they were appalled, amazed, shocked that we were building our own house, whatever it might be. They thought that was strange, I guess. Let's put it that way. Now, by the way, here's the hole, and I can't see the camera. I don't know what the camera's doing, but right here is the lumber for the footers and the rebar for the walls of the foundation. So that's exciting. What was I talking about? Okay, so I'm gonna go back and forth on this deal, but building a house yourself, should you do it? I don't know if you should do it. I don't know if I should do it, but I do not, dang it, I only got 3 of those. I do not want to be a person in life who is always waiting for the perfect time to do something. Right now is arguably not the perfect time to do it because everybody's afraid of tariffs and everybody's afraid lumber prices are going to go up, and there's all of these factors that say, dude, don't do anything. Don't do anything. You will not succeed. The government won't let you succeed. The circumstances won't let you succeed. But man, I've waited around a lot in my life, waiting for perfect times, and it seems like the perfect time never comes. And they used to say, I've got a friend who says, it isn't like it was, and it isn't like it used to be, and it probably never was. And so I kind of tend to default a little bit toward action versus default toward waiting for something, for some better circumstance or something to happen. I have no idea what this lumber is. What do I have 1x4s for? Oh my gosh, here we go. Let me show you this. So to be perfectly honest, this is the first time I've ever even had a lumber salesman send me lumber building a house. I'm just trusting him on this one. I tend to be a person who is always trying to control everything about the build because you can nickel and dime and you can save a little bit here, you can save a little bit there. If you're looking for deals, you can always, if you're driving to town to get 2x4s, you can always check at Menards and Home Depot and Lowe's and the lumberyard on your phone app, and you can just figure out what's the cheapest and buy it there. So my projects have always been kind of a mishmash of lumbers, which, to be fair, has saved me a heck of a lot of money. But I'm trusting him this time, and that's probably a positive thing for me, to just be trusting that somebody's going to do what they said they were going to do. By the way, again, distracted squirrel. This looks awesome. The guy who did the dirt work here prepped this location up, I mean, perfectly. I have no complaints. He's got a stockpile of dirt there. The road looks great, although it probably isn't deep enough, and I had to have another guy come and fix the road, and I'll show you that as we get down to it. But what was I talking about? So building a house, ourselves, myself, whatever you want to say. I've got sons who are going to help, and I'm sure I'll have some friends, and I'm sure that I'll wish that I had my microphone on previously. Once I turn it on, it'll probably sound better. Man, annoying. Who knows what the sound is going to be like in that first portion. So the thing is, people are all talking about how expensive houses are, and that seems to be the talk of the town. The talk of the world is how expensive houses are, and it's because there's a housing shortage. That's because people aren't building houses because they can't make money on them theoretically, or the circumstances aren't right, or the interest rates are too high. I mean, like, there's a million reasons that all factor into it. But if you can build a house, you might as well build a house, I guess. And so what we're doing is we're building another house. I don't know if everybody should build a house, but we're splitting our land. We're going to sell, most likely, the house that we built 4 years ago. And another family is going to get to live out in the country because of what we're doing. And we're going to get to build another house. And we're going to add value to the world by building. Most people think of a house, they think of it as an asset in the one sense that, you know, it's something that grows in value, but it's just a big expense to most people. And as a person who builds houses, I think of houses more as an asset, or as a project to build value in the world and to be in the flow of resources. And so the cool thing about building a house is, one, you get to employ a bunch of people who make lumber and make siding and make plumbing fixtures. You get to participate in the economy in a way that is different than if you just go buy a house that is sitting there. That life cycle of it adding value is kind of like over, and now you're just sinking your money into a finished asset. So we get to add a ton of value to ourselves and to the world by building. And in the case that we're doing today, I'm spending more money than I would like to on this driveway I'm walking down, because, man, 100 feet of driveway is not cheap. And this has not been a cheap endeavor to get put in the ground. Now, I was talking to the earthwork guy, and he's working on projects where they're running their trucks all day, every day, for people who are just digging their foundation for like 3 and 4 and 5 weeks at a time. They dug that foundation in 1 day. They were out of here in 2 after putting the driveway and the foundation in. So it's not expensive by those kind of standards. But the value in building my own house, i.e. building a house with my own tools and my own equipment, my son's helping me. Obviously, that's kind of a cool deal this time around. So there's obvious economic value. There's family value. We get to spend time doing something. The boys get to learn how to do something that they would not otherwise know how to do. Okay, there we go. Obviously, I get to take you guys along for the ride. So there might be economic value to that. There might not. There might just be like learning. I'm not a person who wants to just hire everybody to do things for me. And I like to know how to do things. And so the value to me of building a house myself is, if I don't know how to do something right at this moment, just give me a minute. I will figure it out. And I think that there's a lot of people who think that they want to be like that, and they probably could, but somebody's told them, or they've believed something. I don't exactly know how to describe. I just think that people don't realize how much you could learn how to do if you just try. And I don't know that people really realize how hard you could work, because we will be working hard on this project. If you try. And that's not like a, hey, I worked super hard kind of brag. It's just a realization that if you just go to a 9-to-5 job and you're done at the end of your 8 hours, and you're just not going to add any more value after your 8 hours. That is the time that you're going to work and you're going to add value to the world. Okay. That's your call. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man, I didn't bring enough zip ties. You got to be kidding me. That's your call. But don't expect to get ahead when other people are willing to do so much more than you are in life to get ahead or to keep up or whatever. Like, it's fine if that's all you want to do. But you should have expectations of life that are in keeping with what you personally are or were willing to put out. And I'm pretty sure that if you tackle a project that is kind of big and hairy and maybe a little bit outside of your comfort zone, if you're determined to finish it and you have the character to finish it, it can be done. And so I would not discourage anybody from trying something like what we're doing here. Unless they were just a person who's like, hey, I don't have it in me. I personally can't, I can't put out that much effort. If you can't, and that's how you feel about it, then you can't. That's true. But to me, I'm going to end up having to go back and get more zip ties for this. To me, that is kind of like what exactly is life about if it's not about challenging yourself to do something hard? And I'm not the best at this. I am sure that I have, because of fear or whatever, not tried to do a lot of things in life that I should have tried to do. And the thing is, I don't want to be like that. So I want to purposely make the concerted and conscious effort to do things that are hard or that are outside of my comfort zone. And I'm in no way, shape, or form advocating for being foolish. You have to run the numbers on a project. You have to figure out if it's feasible. And like we're doing, we're not building a house that is enormous. We're building a house that satisfies our needs and will work, if it will work as a potential house to sell. You know, I've seen people build houses that when they were done, I thought, who else is going to want a house that's like this? Like doing things that are relatively simple. One, they're not so expensive that no one else can afford them. And you know, keeping it a little bit straightforward and making sure that you're trying to think through what is the way I could build this, or the thing I could do that someone else would appreciate. Maybe not as much as I appreciate it, but maybe someone else would appreciate it, you know, a lot and be willing to pay for it. I mean, that's kind of what you're doing when you're a builder. You're trying to guess what somebody else will want. But okay, I've got my zip ties. Oh, that's not gonna work. The sun's wrong. Chickens are making a ruckus. Let's see what they're up to. So on my thought of Hey guys, what's up? Seems pretty chill. My father died a few years ago, and my father had a ton of ideas. And some of them he did a fair number of ideas, but we were talking about building him a house, and I was saying you should hire people to do it, and he said, this might be the only house I ever built in my entire life. Kind of like he was disappointed that he hadn't done more things. And then we didn't end up building the house, and he passed away. And I'm not sure what the story is here. So what's my point? Probably just drop this part out of the edit. Oh, here's my point. So my father didn't ever get his house built, and he died, and I'm sure he doesn't care now at all. So that's not the point. But I'm sure my father, I'm talking about my dead father here. And I'm not laughing because he's passed away. I'm laughing because I don't know what it has to do with what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to get the sunlight to where I'm not just a big shadow. Oh, so you want to build your farmstead, your homestead. You just want to build a house in the country on 3 acres. Whatever it is you're wanting to do, you really need to just do it. If the thing is too expensive, build it smaller. Like, is having some huge house but not living where you want to live, is that valuable to you? You got 60, 70, 80 years on this planet, and so your house isn't as big as you wanted it to be. All of the energy efficiency things, it's like what seems to be happening in the world with building is everybody wants this monster house, and everybody's been convinced by whoever, by culture, society, that they need to have this huge house. Well, each of your kids needs to have 2 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, or 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. And you need to have a guest room, and you have to have, dude, look at this. Look around here. This is awesome if you want to live in the country. If you don't want to live in the country, this isn't awesome. My brother-in-law, he wouldn't even like this, because look, you can see a house there, you can see a house there, and you can see a house there. Like, this isn't even country enough for him. But for most people, this is great. And so, yeah, we're building a house that is a little smaller than what, someone would typically build. But there's a lot of advantages to that. One is it's going to be easier to sell because people can afford smaller houses if we ever want to sell it. And we just don't have as much space to heat. We don't have as much space to cool. And so we're building a modest house. Modest house, it's going to be almost 3,000 feet. But the footprint, I'll show you, is the footprint of the whole, 36 by 40. It'll have a full basement, and it will have a future finished second floor. And then connected right to it, is going to be a 36 wide by 48 deep shop with a couple garage doors. And it's going to be smaller than my current shop, but it's going to be heated. It's going to be somewhat AC'd probably, and it is going to serve us perfectly well for what we need. And honestly, I learned this a little bit from a friend of mine, Scott, who I was always trying to talk him into building his shop bigger. I was trying to talk him into building his bakery bigger, or his wife's bakery bigger. And they were like, no, we need to design it well, and we need to fit everything in it that we want in it, and we need to be content with that. And honestly, it's probably a better a better way to go about things, because then you don't have the maintenance of a massively expensive place. So I know this is just kind of a rambling thought, but this is a rambling thought from someone who's built multiple properties to sell and multiple properties to live in, and things that I've learned along the way. And I realize as well as anybody that a lot of things you learn along the way, you have to learn yourself. So listening to someone say it just kind of gives you a data point, and then eventually you go and you learn something for yourself. So I don't expect anybody to like take what I'm saying as like, oh, that's gonna save me from all the grief of learning it myself. That's not gonna happen to you. So real quick, I'll just go through this simple house. I'm standing in the garage, and my wife's vehicle is gonna actually fit in this garage. I swear to you, we're gonna let her put her vehicle in the garage. Although I've never seen a vehicle in the garage before in my life, but whatever. Her vehicle is gonna be able to fit in the garage. Back here is gonna be a bay door for truck and tractor and things to come in and out of. Somewhere back there, we're gonna put our shipping container. We have a shipping container, and I think we're going to incorporate probably tractor and mower type storage into that to keep them out of the weather this time around. Probably have to run a little electric wire to it. But basically, in this area, we do all of our own game, whitetail deer hunting and some butchering. We're gonna have this area of the garage kind of set up for like like an inside-outside kitchen. And then after that first like 15 feet, all of the rest of this is going to be my shop. And I don't do a ton of like carpentry in the shop, but sometimes I have projects where I have to paint something or you know, disassemble something, work on a vehicle, work on tools and things like that. And so it's not gonna be like a cabinet shop or anything like that. It's just gonna be like a working shop. And then over here, we're gonna have a pretty sizable parking turnaround and a drive that goes up and back along the edge of the property. Can't do that with the gimbal. Over here, we're gonna have a drive that goes on up to our cabin, and people will just drive by our house and head up to the cabin. Something that we've been thinking about doing, is somewhere out here in this slightly, hopefully, sort of private-ish area on the back, putting a hot tub, because I'm getting old and my back hurts a lot, and probably making that available to people who are staying at our cabin. So anyway, that's where this thing's at. It's another day one of the project, even though this is like day 2 months in, 3 months in after getting the building permits 3 months ago. We're just now dropping the first load of lumber. And I'll keep you updated on the rest of it. If you want to follow a project from beginning to end, follow the channel. There's probably something on here about, you know, here's another video. You know, go for it. I'm just figuring this out, and we'll figure it out.